Umar Nurmagomedov is fighting Song Yadong after he was said to be the next in line for a title shot against Merab Dvalishvili. What happened to that title fight, and where is Merab? Why isn't he fighting? By the looks of everything, it seems like he's straight up ducking Umar, hoping for the Sean O'Malley fight. That's what it seems like. It's not just the fact that Umar is fighting another opponent, and respect to him for staying active and fighting another contender, wants to get another fight this year, whereas it seems like Merab now is wanting to fight in March, conveniently the only month of the year that Umar won't fight because of Ramadan. But Merab said that he was willing to fight Sean O'Malley in November. This is a tweet from Merab Dvalishvili after he beat Sean O'Malley. Quote, I hear O'Malley thinks he won the fight and is looking for a rematch. If he wants it, he can have it. Let's do it November 16th at the Garden, and then I'll still defend the title against whoever the UFC wants me to fight next. What do you think? Unquote. So he wanted to fight Sean O'Malley in November. This is only a few weeks ago that he said that. Umar later said, quote, if Merab is going to avoid me, and I'll fight with anyone UFC suggests before Ramadan, unquote. So Umar's willing to fight anybody else if Merab doesn't fight him. And not only do the fans think this is weird, but so does Tim Welch, Sean O'Malley's coach. He was like, it's weird that Merab wanted to fight you, O'Malley, but he doesn't want to fight Umar until March. Even he finds it weird, where he benefits with O'Malley fighting Merab instead.
I'm fighting Merab versus Sugar 2. It's happening. I'm manifesting it. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I don't know what's going on with Umar and Merab. Umar saying he'll fight. He wants to fight this year. Merab saying he doesn't want to fight this year. So
that's weird that changed though. He said he would rematch you in November, but then as soon as that wasn't, he said he.
I'm here for it. Don't rematch him. Wait. I mean, don't fight him. Wait for me. I'm gonna be ready March. Let's get it. Let's run it back. Manifesting it, putting it out there. That's happening. Sugar versus Merab 2. Oh, I love it. Oh, I can't wait.
It is kind of weird. Merab did say he'd fight O'Malley in November, but as soon as Umar came up, now I'll fight him in March. But Umar can't fight in March. It's the only month he can't fight. Can you fight him before that? Nah, I can fight him in March. Now, here's the thing. Umar doesn't absolutely deserve a title shot, right? That's not the main part of the argument. It's O'Malley getting an immediate rematch. Honestly, if Figgy beats Jan, he deserves a title shot more than Umar does. Just because of the opponents that he's beaten already, right? If he beats Peter Yan, that's bigger than any win that Umar has. And then stack up the other contenders that Figgy already beat, he of course deserves a title shot over Umar. But the thing is, Merab's saying that he's willing to fight O'Malley in November, not willing to fight Umar until March, conveniently, and the O'Malley rematch is just a slap in the face to all the fans and all the fighters. Nobody wants to see that rematch. It's gonna be the exact same fight as last time. Who wants to see a repeat of that fight? That fight wasn't exciting, and I think Merab beats O'Malley easier in the rematch than he did in the first fight. At least with fighters like Figgy and Umar, these guys have the grappling in order to make it actually a better fight, a more exciting fight, because Merab cannot just hold on to them against the fence or drag them to the ground like he can to O'Malley and Yan. The fact that Umar and Figgy can scramble out of those positions means there's going to be more action in the fight. Whereas O'Malley and Yan, they don't have that same kind of skill set, especially O'Malley. Yan fighting Merab before O'Malley makes a lot more sense with a win over Figgy. O'Malley does not deserve a title shot whatsoever. In fact, he needs like 2 to 3 wins to get back at a title shot, in my opinion, because his first run to the title made no sense either. And Umar had an interview about all of this where he said that Merab is conveniently picking March also because he knows that February is booked with a title fight already.
Him to fight with me in January, in December, and but he said he injured. But how how I know about this? Like, I know you try to make this fight, but this guy don't want play too much, and he said he will fight give me Umar in February or March. Okay, February they already have title fights like Adesanya and someone. It's gonna be in Australia, and he knew they will not put us there, and he said, okay, put me like in February, give me fight in February. And he said I will fight with Umar in March, but he know this. He know I will not fight in March. And what's interesting, he ready to fight with anyone, like with O'Malley in November.
Umar wants to fight frequently, right? He wants to stay active. That's 3 fights in 9 months now that he's fighting Song Yadong. Merab wants to fight like once or twice a year. Can these champions fight more frequently? What is stopping Merab from fighting Umar in January or even in November like he said? I mean, obviously they're not going to fight in November. Now that card is already stacked. But what's stopping them from fighting in January? Could it be an injury? Merab could be injured, But then why was he willing to fight O'Malley? And even on that podcast where Tim Welch and O'Malley were talking about this, Merab responded a few days ago and said, let's go, I will try not to kiss you this time. He's still willing to fight Sean O'Malley, but he has to wait until March to fight Umar. And even after the fight, everybody kind of thought that, Merab's response to Umar being on the screen after he just beat O'Malley was kind of strange. He didn't even want to talk about Umar, knowing that Umar was supposed to be the next title challenger. That's why they showed him on the screen after the fight. It's the first build-up to their title fight, but now it looks like Umar is gonna fight Song Yadong, which is a good matchup. It's a good fight. Respect to both fighters, and definitely respect to Umar for willing to take up another contender fight, willing to stay active. This is the stuff that we want to see. And he seems to be the best fighter in the weight class as well. It's like the inevitable champion. And Merab is just waiting around to get another big money fight with pay-per-view buys against maybe Sean O'Malley, right? And if Sean O'Malley gets that title fight, as Ariel even said, right? Ariel said that that's the fight they're looking at. I don't know if that's true, but if O'Malley does get the immediate rematch, he is the most privileged fighter we've ever seen in the UFC. He barely fought anyone to get a title shot. Peter Yan got robbed of a win against him. He beat Aljamain Sterling, which is a great win for him, but then he got an easy title defense against Cheeto, who didn't deserve a title shot outside of just the money fight, because Cheeto at the time was one of the bigger names of the weight class. And then when he fights the first legitimate contender, Merab, he loses that fight and gets an immediate rematch. Bro, Jose Aldo didn't get an immediate rematch when he lost to Conor McGregor. He had 9 title defenses in a row, one of the greatest of all time. Charles Oliveira didn't get a rematch against Islam. He had to fight Beneil Dariush first. Jan Blachowicz didn't get an immediate rematch against Glover. Leon isn't getting a rematch against Bilal. And even though none of those make sense, I agree, but neither does O'Malley. O'Malley makes less sense than those. He got gifted the easiest path to a title, the easiest title defense in modern history, loses the fight to Merab, and if he gets an immediate rematch after all that, the belts don't mean anything. And I think about that already. I don't think the belts really mean anything. They've been delegitimized a long time ago. At this point, when I look at fights, I just look at the skill sets of the fighters. Some of the best fighters in the weight class aren't even the champions. Like right now, Umar is not the champion, but he's the best fighter in that weight class. So I don't know what's going on with these title fights. Can the rightful contender finally just fight the champion, man? Can Tom Aspinall fight John Jones already? Can Ankalaev fight Alex? Can either Jan, Figgy, or Umar fight Merab? And can Kai Kara-France fight Pantoja? There's multiple weight classes where the number one contender is not fighting the champion, and it's hurting the legitimacy of the sport. Are we watching the best fighters compete against the best fighters, or are we watching just the biggest money fights? I watch a sport for the best fighters to fight the best fighters. Whether I like their style or not, at least I know they're the best fighters in the world, right? I want to see them fight each other, not some WWE preferential matchups. Now, the Umar and Yadong fight should be good. I think Yadong is a much harder fight than Sandhagen was because he does have the takedown defense. Yadong is much harder to penetrate with the takedowns just because of how fast he is to sprawl compared to Corey, who isn't as fast twitch, and he has been shown in other fights to be taken down a lot easier than Song Yadong. Song Yadong also has much more knockout power. He's shorter with a stronger base, whereas Corey moves around a lot, more nimble but not as physically strong. So I do think both in the striking and in the grappling, Song Yadong is going to be a more difficult fight for Umar Nurmagomedov. But I still think Umar wins. I think he is a better striker. I think he's also a better wrestler. Yadong will overextend with some of his punches. Whenever Yadong explodes, I think Umar's gonna duck right under that, shoot the takedown, and control Yadong better than other opponents have done before. And Umar's one of the best defensive fighters in the bantamweight division as well. So I think Umar's gonna look very good in this fight. It depends what happens in the Jan and Figueiredo fight, who gets a title shot. I say if Jan beats Figgy, they're probably going to go with Umar. If Figgy beats Jan, he deserves it over Umar 100% because Jan already lost to Merab dominantly. So I think Figgy should be the number one contender, but I think they're going to go with Umar regardless.